What is up, party people? In this video, we're going to talk about Mean Girls. We're going to get straight up serious about Mean Girls because I hear about it all the time from my clients and my clients' moms, and we're just going to talk about it. But first, you know what I got to do. I got to go over here and I got to share. Let's see where we are. How is everybody? Everybody survived the weekend and Mother's Day? I tell you what, so much pressure on that holiday, huh? It can be, here we go. Sharon in my group, Confident Moms Raising Confident Daughters. You need to be in there. If you're not, here we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with a story really quick. A little while ago, a friend of mine and I were talking about, we were organizing an event, bringing a speaker in, talking to girls from a spiritual perspective about, just drama and how to handle all the drama that happens in adolescence, really from the age of 8 to 80. Okay, let's be real. But talking about wanting to bring girls in a particular age group. And this friend of mine was getting fired up and she was like, you know what? We need all the mean girls. We need to bring in all the mean girls. They won't be here. The girls that need to be here won't be here, but I just want to bring them all in this room and have them listen to this woman speak. And because it's a real problem. I mean, we need to start a movement. And I've had moms in some of my in-person events, actually, when they leave, they'd be like, this is great. This was so helpful. I just wish some of the moms of the girls that really need to hear this were here. And I totally get where people are coming from when they say that, right? We feel like the people that need to hear the message about being kind and being inclusive and all of this are never the ones in the room. But I want to give you 3 reasons why I'm actually okay with that. Okay? The first reason is, and let's first talk about what makes a mean girl. Okay? And I'm going to tell you that I've kind of changed my my philosophy on using that term. But I'll get to that in a second. So excluding, teasing, comments on social media, the group mentality, the group talk, lack of loyalty, lack of honesty, lack of consideration of others' feelings, right? These all make up what we would call mean girl behavior. And these are the people that we want, in the room to hear why those things aren't good, why they're not nice, why they make us feel less than, why they make us feel excluded, why they make us feel like, we're not good enough, right? And so I want to tell you 3 reasons why it's not helpful to be so focused on their behavior, okay? The first reason is we're all mean girls. And that's why I don't really like to use the term mean girls, because at some point in time, I'm either the mean girl, someone else is being a mean girl, or I'm being mean to myself, right? The loudest mean girl voice in the room is always the one in my own head, because it always comes back to what I make their behavior mean about me, right? Mean girl behavior has 0 power until I decide that it means something about me and that something's wrong with me, right? So I also want us to think about these behaviors as adults. I mean, I think we can all agree that mean girl behavior isn't something that's just set aside for young women, that there are, like when I talk about lack of honesty, lack of loyalty, lack of consideration for others, excluding, teasing, group mentality. Some of you moms watching might be like, yeah, I'm experiencing that right now, right? Which leads me to reason number 2 of why we shouldn't focus so much on the mean behavior. because it's normal. All of these things that I just listed are actually quite normal for our girls' development. We are in a tribe mentality because that's how we evolved. We evolved by developing and growing in tribes and villages. And girls are operating from a place in their brain called the limbic system. And that's where, that's the emotional side of our brain. So we're actually wired for that. Our limbic systems are bigger than boys, which is why the other comment I get all the time that I think is hilarious is boys are so much easier. Why don't boys ever, I never hear this from my son and my son's friends. They just sit around and grunt at each other. And that's a good reason because girls' limbic systems we're literally physiologically and biologically wired different than boys, right? The whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whatever that is. There's truth to that, right? So in our girls' development, the mean girl behavior is actually them. It actually comes from a place of fear, right? Because the last thing that we want to have happen is us get ousted from a tribe. Because back in those days, if you were boosted from your tribe, that literally meant you weren't going to survive, or your chances of survival were very slim. So, even though our surroundings and our environment have evolved, the way that we're wired hasn't, right? We're always coming from a place of fear and negativity. This is where judgment and jealousy and all of those great things come from. It's legitimately us trying to figure out where do we fall and how will we survive and how do we size up and what's a real danger versus, what's okay. So we're wired to bond, connect, and nurture. Well, when we're trying to connect and when we want deeper connections, then the chances are we're going to have deeper conflict and deeper pain. Remember that girls this age, when they're finding their bestie and when they're finding their friends, it's really practice for the more intimate relationships that they're going to have later in life, right? When they're finding a mate. This is how the girls this is how we roll. So actually, mean behaviors is a very normal byproduct of girls just trying to figure out their place and trying to sort of establish themselves in a tribe, right? So it doesn't come from a mean and nasty place. It comes from a place of trying to survive. And I think when we can talk about that like that with our girls, and all of these reasons, really, it will help them understand that, yeah, it still doesn't feel good to be on the receiving end of that, but it might help explain things a little bit and not personalize these things so much. Okay, that leads me to number 3. Mean girls teach us how to be nice, right? It's that contrast. If everybody was nice and happy and lovely all the time, we wouldn't even know it. We wouldn't know that it was great because we would all just be walking around in this bubble. And so just like we don't know joy without pain, we don't know not the importance of being nice and compassionate and patient and understanding and cutting some slack and grace, right? And forgiveness. We don't learn those things unless we have mean girls or mean behavior. I'm going to stop saying mean girls. So it's also really important that when your girls are young, when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? This helps them have better judgment for the friendships that they're going to want and keep and nurture in their lives later in life. And the reason why this is so important is, the stuff that we deal with and struggle with and need our friends for later in life is pretty high ticket stuff, right? I mean, it's substance abuse, abusive relationships, things that we need support or help working through later in life. We need a good support system around us. And the way we figure that out is by dealing with the mean behavior now. And there's going to be a desire to kind of run with the mean girl. The girl who's popular in middle school isn't because she's nice and loyal and kind and good to everybody. It's just, that's not. It's social power at that point. But I can tell you that having strong social and emotional skills are the number one predictor for success in life. It's not how smart you are. It's not how athletic you are. It's not how beautiful you are. It's not how fashionable you are, right? It's the ability to be able to work in groups and process your own emotions and clean up your mind and do all that mental hygiene. That's what will prove successful in our girls' lives as they grow older. That's why mean behavior and mean girls right now is so important, because it builds those skills. Okay? So, like my friends who said, all the people that need to be here, aren't going to be here, and I wish I could get all the mean girls in the room and tell them, what's up. I actually, if I'm just spitballing here, and this is what I said back to my friend, I'm good with the girls that will be in the room. I'm good with empowering young women on how to handle themselves in these situations and how to handle this behavior, because that will help them so much more in life than rounding up all the mean girls and their moms and telling them what for and having them change. Because guess what? On to high school, more mean girls, more difficult people, more difficult situations to navigate. On to college, hello, roommates. Not all of us had great ones. I did have good roommates. But I think it's because I also had really good social and emotional skills at that point in time. And the reason I had them was because I went through a time in middle school where my parents moved me to a new school, and I had to make new friends, like knew no one, and I had to navigate all of that. So I had an opportunity to build those skills before I went to college, which our girls all have that too, if we will allow it. So when your girls come to you, or when you know they're dealing with a tough social situation, don't focus on the other girl's behavior. Okay? You're gonna want to. That's the natural inclination, is to figure out why someone is being mean, right? We either make them a victim or we make them a villain. We either say, well, they must be going through something really tough right now, or they're just jealous of you, right? Let's stop that and let's take the focus back to the heart that matters, and that's the one that's sitting in the room with you. And we do that by talking to our girls about how they want to feel in a situation. Who do they want to be in a situation? How, if nothing and no one else ever changes, how do they want to show up, right? We do that by focusing inward, which is all the work that I do, right? Okay, registration's open for the Be Confident Summer Workshop Series. Super excited. Spots are filling up. I got several registrations this weekend. I had a few before I put the link on social media. So if you're curious about it, reach out to me. I can send you some information. I'm going to post the link again. But I really want your daughter there. If she's a rising 7th or 8th grade girl and she's local to Louisville or the surrounding areas, come on. Sign her up, because some of this stuff we're going to be talking about, but in a way that's really relatable to her. And she's going to make some good connections with some like-minded girls. She's going to broaden and expand her friend group. She's going to find someone in that group that shares a lot in common with her. And that's going to be really cool, because also we're going to be talking about certain situations that they're dealing with on a daily basis, on a regular basis, and giving them some tools and strategies on how to deal with those things in very healthy ways, building those social and emotional skills that are the predictor for success in life. So, come on, join me. All right, I hope everybody has a great start to the week, and I will talk to you soon. Toodles. Oh.